before you judge me as crazy, answer me this. Can you remember exactly what you were thinking at 3:17 a.m. last Thursday? Because I can. Not because I have a good memory, but because someone told me. Someone who was inside my head, whispering through disconnected headphones. And what I'm about to tell you will make you question everything you think you know about your own mind. Because if what happened to me is real, then none of us are truly alone. You know that moment when you realize you've lost control of your own mind? When your hands shake and you can't trust your own thoughts anymore? I've been living this for 127 days, counting every single one. Because the voice that lives in my head, she counts too. And she knows things about me that I was certain I had buried so deep that not even God could find them. But she found them. And now, she wants me to do things that no sane person would ever do. If you're under 25, maybe you should stop here, because what I'm about to tell you will mess with parts of your mind you didn't even know existed.
My name is Ana Beatriz. I'm 29 years old, and until 4 months ago, I was certain I knew my own story. I was wrong. I work in video editing. I spend 12 hours a day with headphones on, immersed in timelines, cuts, transitions. My 7th floor apartment is too quiet, the kind of place where you hear your own heartbeat or the hum of the refrigerator 3 floors below. My routine was mathematically predictable. 7 a.m., bitter black coffee. 7:30 a.m., first client. 7 p.m., final render. 11 p.m., Netflix until I fell asleep on the couch. I had just gotten out of a 5-year relationship. Lucas cheated on me with a coworker, and I was in that phase of emotional numbness that comes after the end of something long and complicated. Loneliness was my constant companion. Maybe that's why I didn't find it so strange at first. The first sign was noise in the headphones, static. Then something that sounded like breathing synchronized with mine.
It was an ordinary Tuesday. I was editing a wedding, you know, those cheesy videos where everyone smiles too much, when I heard something that shouldn't have been there. It wasn't ordinary static. It was a pattern. Breathing. Breathing that perfectly matched mine. When I sighed, it sighed. When I held my breath, it stopped. I took off the headphones and checked everything. Cable, input, audio settings, nothing. I put them back on and continued working. Mistake, right? I should have stopped there. The next day, editing a corporate video about productivity and wellness, irony that only people who work alone understand, the breathing returned. But this time, it wasn't following mine. It was guiding me. When I got anxious, it breathed slowly, as if teaching me. When I got lost in work, it accelerated, as if warning me. And I automatically started following it. On the 5th day, the breathing transformed into something more. I was retouching a graduation video when I heard, clear as if someone was sitting next to me, "You're twirling your hair again." My hand stopped mid-motion. I was, indeed, twirling a strand of hair around my finger, a nervous tic I developed when my mother died. "Who said that?" I whispered to the empty apartment. "You know who." My heart raced. I looked around. Doors closed, windows closed, phone turned off on the desk. I don't know. Who's talking? The person who knows you best in the world. My mother is dead. I know. I was there. And then she said something that made me vomit right there on the office floor. "You didn't cry at the funeral because you were angry at her for dying on your 14th birthday. You thought she had done it on purpose to ruin your party." That was true. A truth I had never, ever told anyone, that I didn't even admit to myself. From that day on, the voice became a constant presence. It didn't speak every day. Sometimes it would go weeks in silence. But when it spoke, it destroyed pieces of me I didn't know existed. You didn't finish college because you were afraid of being mediocre. Better not to try than to try and fail. You chose editing because you like controlling narratives, cutting out the bad parts, highlighting the good ones, something you can't do in your own life. You never said "I love you" first to Lucas because love is vulnerability and vulnerability is death. Each sentence was an emotional autopsy. The voice knew my defense mechanisms better than any therapist. And the worst part? It was always right. I started doing tests. I recorded the conversations, but when I listened back, only my voice, talking to myself like a madwoman. I installed cameras. In the recordings, I appeared talking to thin air, answering questions no one else could hear. I sought help. Dr. Mendez, a psychiatrist with 30 years of experience, listened to me with the patience of someone who had seen every type of mental breakdown. Auditory episodes are more common than you'd think, Anna. Stress, isolation, trauma, unprocessed grief. He prescribed many medications, a cocktail of stabilizers that should have silenced any voice. It didn't work, because the voice wasn't coming from outside. It was coming from within, from a place no medication can reach. After a month of hearing painful analyses of my psyche, the voice changed strategy. It started giving guidance. Don't leave the house tomorrow before 2 p.m. I ignored it. I left at 9 a.m. to go to the bank. On the way, I witnessed a horrible traffic accident. 3 cars, 2 deaths. I was in shock at the scene until the ambulance arrived. When I got home, the voice simply said, "Now you know I'm not here to hurt you." The guidance became daily. Delete the Promax company email without reading it. Don't answer calls today after 5 p.m. Change the door lock. Use the key in the kitchen drawer. And when I obeyed, there was always a reason. Promax was being investigated for money laundering. The calls after 5 p.m. were scams. They tried to break into my apartment the week I changed the lock. The voice wasn't predicting the future. It was saving me from something. But from what? The instructions became more personal. Look for the box behind the heater. There was no box there. Look harder. I found it, hidden in a hole in the wall that I swore I had never seen before. Inside, photos of me in places I didn't remember. Letters written in my handwriting, but telling stories that weren't mine. Receipts for purchases I didn't make, keys to apartments that weren't mine, and a diary. The first pages were normal. Complaints about clients, thoughts about Lucas, weekend plans. But as it progressed, the writing changed. It became more desperate. Day 47. The voice is getting more insistent. She wants me to do something I can't do. Day 52. I discovered that Dr. Mendez isn't a psychiatrist. He's a neurologist, memory specialist. Why did he lie? Day 58. The voice showed me where the other boxes are. There's an entire life hidden in this apartment. A life I lived but don't remember. Day 63. I'm not Anna Beatrice. My real name is... The page was torn.
I confronted the voice. Who am I? Someone who forgot on purpose. Why? Because the truth about who you are is unbearable. Tell me. You killed someone. The world stopped. That's a lie. It's not, and you know it. That's why you erase your memory every 6 months. That's why you live alone. That's why you never allow yourself to be happy. I'm not a murderer. It wasn't on purpose, but it happened. And you can't live with it. So you forget. But I always come back because someone needs to remember. Who did I kill? Your twin sister. I don't have a twin sister. You had one. Car accident at 16. You were driving. You fought over a boy. You lost control, hit the tree. She died instantly. Stop! Stop talking! Your parents never forgave you. That's why you left home. That's why you never spoke to them again. That's why you live like you're invisible. I don't remember any of this. Because you don't want to remember. But I'm the part of you that keeps the truth. And when you go too long without remembering, I come back.
I spent 3 days without eating, without sleeping, just searching for evidence. In the 4th box, I found birth certificates. 2 of them, Ana Beatriz and Ana Clara. Twins, born on the same day at the same hospital. Ana Clara's death certificate, 16 years old, cause, cranial trauma resulting from automobile accident. Photos of both of us, identical, always together, always smiling. And then I started remembering. Not all at once, in flashes, painful fragments that cut through my mind like shards. The fight, the boy we both liked, the same guy, me screaming that she always got everything, her crying, me accelerating the car, the curve, the tree, the sound of crushing metal, her silence, the blood, my scream. The voice spoke for the last time. Now you remember. But in 3 weeks, you'll forget again. Because that's how it works. You can't live with the guilt, so you erase everything. Change apartments, change identity, start over. How long has this been happening? 13 years. Since the accident. You've lived dozens of lives, Ana, always running from the same memory. And you? I'm Clara, the part of her that lives in you, that doesn't let you forget completely, because someone needs to remember her. Does she hate me? She loves you. That's why she protects you. That's why she guides you. That's why she doesn't let you hurt yourself. How do I stop this? You don't stop it. You accept it. Live with the pain. Honor her memory. Stop running. What if I can't? Then, in 3 weeks, you'll forget everything again, and the cycle starts over. Today, 2 weeks after remembering, I still hear the voice. But now I know it's not madness, it's love. The love of a sister who died, but who still takes care of me through the only way she found, living in my consciousness. I killed my twin sister when I was 16, and for 13 years, I lived in total denial, erasing my memory every few months to escape the pain. But pain is the only thing that connects me to her, so now I choose to remember. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. Because some stories need to be told, even if they hurt. And if you have a voice in your head that knows things you shouldn't know, maybe it's not madness. Maybe it's someone who loves you trying to protect you, or trying to remind you of something you need to remember. Today, 2 weeks after remembering, I still hear the voice. But now I know it's not madness, it's love. The love of a sister who died, but who still takes care of me through the only way she found, living in my consciousness. I killed my twin sister when I was 16, and for 13 years, I lived in total denial, erasing my memory every few months to escape the pain. But pain is the only thing that connects me to her, so now I choose to remember. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. Because some stories need to be told, even if they hurt.
And if you have a voice in your head that knows things you shouldn't know, maybe it's not madness. Maybe it's someone who loves you trying to protect you, or trying to remind you of something you need to remember.
The question isn't whether you're hearing voices. The question is, why are you trying not to listen? Leave in the comments, do you have any memory you try to forget? Any regret that haunts you? Any inner voice that guides you? You don't need to share details, but tell me, do you also have a Clara living in your consciousness? Because after sharing my story with you, I discovered I'm not alone. And maybe you're not either.